All right, today we are diving headfirst into one of the great American novels, F. Scott Fitzgerald's masterpiece, The Great Gatsby. We're going to get into the man, the myth, and the dream that, well, ultimately led him to his doom.
So picture this. It's the roaring 20s, right? Prohibition is on, but the booze is flowing, the stock market's soaring, and there's this one name on everyone's lips. Gatsby. This guy throws the most insane parties you can possibly imagine. But here's the thing. The host? He's a total ghost. Just a myth, really, completely wrapped up in rumors.
I mean, think about it. People would show up to his mansion every single weekend, drinking his illegal booze, having the time of their lives. But they didn't know the first thing about the guy paying for it all, so what do? You gossip. You trade these wild stories. Is he a spy? Did he kill a guy? Is he some kind of long-lost royalty, or just a con man?
Okay, so to really get who this guy is, we have to look past the parties, right? We've got to peel back the layers of this incredible illusion he built for himself.
So, our guide through all this is the narrator, Nick Carraway. And through his eyes, we get pulled into this just dazzling world. It's totally drunk on new money, this feeling of new freedom, and this idea that the party will literally never stop. But you start to realize pretty quickly that the whole spectacle, it's just a stage. But that's the big question, isn't it? I mean, why? Why throw these massive parties for people you don't even know? Well, it turns out all that flash and extravagance, it wasn't just for fun. It was all for one single purpose. Now, on the surface, Gatsby looks like the poster child for the American dream. This guy, born James Gatz, comes from nothing. We're talking poor farm family. And he just wills himself into becoming a millionaire. It's the ultimate pull yourself up by your bootstraps story. But the book really wants us to dig deeper. What's that dream actually made of? And more importantly, what's the price tag? So here's the secret, the whole thing. It's all about a girl. Before the war, before he had a dime, he fell madly in love with Daisy. But, he was poor, and she went off and married the ridiculously wealthy Tom Buchanan. So Gatsby gets it in his head that if he can just make enough money, an insane amount of money, he can rewind time, erase the last 5 years, and win her back. The parties? They were just bait. A giant, glittering net, hoping that one night she just happened to walk in.
And you see, it's not even just about Daisy herself anymore. It's about what she represents. It's this perfect, idealized version of his past and of himself that he's trying to get back. And this entire obsession, this whole massive dream, is focused on one tiny little thing he stares at every night.
The green light? It's just a little light at the end of Daisy's dock, all the way across the bay. But to Gatsby, man, that light was everything. It was hope. It was the future. It was this perfect, beautiful dream that was always, always right there, but just beyond his grasp. But here's the problem. A dream like Gatsby's, built on hope and, well, a lot of new money, it was on a collision course with reality. And the reality of 1920s America was a brutal, rigid class system. The book lays it all out for you. Geographically, it's brilliant. You've got West Egg, that's Gatsby. It's the new money, flashy, extravagant, maybe a little gaudy. These are the people who made their fortunes. Then, across the water, you have East Egg. That's the old money, Tom and Daisy. Their wealth is inherited, it's established, and they look down their noses at the West Egg crowd, thinking they're just tasteless phonies. And stuck right between these two worlds of insane wealth is something else entirely, the Valley of Ashes. It's just this gray industrial wasteland. It's the grim reality behind all the glitter. And looming over it all are these giant, haunting eyes on an old billboard, the eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg. This place is all about the moral rot, the decay, the people who get chewed up and spit out by the rich in their reckless chase for more. So, inevitably, this all comes to a head. Gatsby tries to force his dream into reality, and when he does, his whole world doesn't just crack, it absolutely shatters. And it happens so fast. It's just this awful, tragic domino effect. First, the big confrontation where Tom exposes where Gatsby's money really came from, and Daisy just folds. Then, the car accident. Daisy is driving, she hits and kills Tom's mistress, but Gatsby takes the blame, which leads to the murder. The mistress's husband thinks Gatsby was the killer, so he finds him and shoots him. All of it just unraveling while Gatsby is still trying to protect the very person who let him take the fall. And the final gut punch? The funeral. This man, who hosted literally hundreds, maybe even thousands of people, less than 10 show up. The crowds were just an illusion. It reveals just how incredibly alone he really was. So you have to ask, right? A century later, why are we still so obsessed with this story?
Well, the reason it sticks with us is because it's so much bigger than just a story about the 1920s. It's a deep, timeless look at the American dream itself. What Gatsby's story really shows us is how a pure dream can get corrupted. His goal? It was hopeful, it was about love. But the method he used to get there? Illegal, corrupt. He thought money was the key to unlocking the past. But ironically, his new money is exactly what kept him on the outside looking in. It could never buy him the one thing he actually wanted. And that's what makes the book so brilliant. All the symbolism is layered in there. The green light is that future we're all chasing. The Valley of Ashes, that's the ugly mess left behind. Those creepy eyes of Dr. Eckelberg are like the eyes of God judging this whole morally bankrupt world. And the mansion itself, it's the perfect picture of a beautiful empty shell.
And it all comes down to that incredible last line. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. It just nails this universal human struggle, doesn't it? We're all trying so hard to move forward, to get to our future, but the past is always right there pulling us back.
Which really leaves us with one final thing to think about. The book is like a mirror, and it's asking us some tough questions. What are the green lights that we're chasing in our own lives? What illusions are we building up? And maybe most importantly, what's the real price we pay for trying to live in the past?